Hello, Jonathan. Hello? Hello. Me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. Hello.
Hello.
Man, I haven't heard your voice in so long.
I know. I was just trying to think the other day. I was like, wait, is the last time we really talked was that at your wedding?
I think that was the last time we have talked. It's been almost 4 years of just texting since then.
Well, I'm glad we've still been texting.
Yeah, right. We would not be here today without it.
Right?
Right. Well, you ready to get started?
Certainly.
All right. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to One More Thing, the bonus podcast episode from my seminary life, where we go a little bit deeper into our current conversation. Right now, I'm doing a series called College Stories, where I'm running down just different things that have happened to me when I was in college, the good, the bad, the ugly, the God moments. And it just made sense to me to have my best friend from college on the show, Dr. Jonathon Roy, to talk about, well, I'm just assuming we're just going to laugh and probably be embarrassed by the end of this, as what I'm assuming where this is going. But before we do that, John, why don't you go ahead and take a second, introduce yourself. What do you do? What are you a doctor of? All that good stuff.
Well, certainly. I'm still getting used to that doctor title after just graduating this May, but my PhD is in counselor education and supervision. So basically, I'm looking to teach and train counselors. And that's one of my many roles and hats. Is I have a practice here in Franklin, Tennessee, where I see lots of different folks and do mental health counseling. And then I'm the assistant director at the college counseling here at Trevecca Nazarene University. Get that plug in.
Of course.
And then, so I supervise some interns here as they do counseling. And then I teach a class every so often. So I do a lot of different things. But I'm enjoying the nice warm weather this week. It's 100 degrees down here in Tennessee this week. So that's just a little bit about where I am at these days.
So, one, I'm proud of you. You don't have a Tennessee accent yet.
It
Proud of
slips in
you.
every once in a while, but not too terrible.
Also, yeah, you do wear a lot of hats, and it feels like 100 degrees here today. It's supposed to get a little cooler as the week goes on, but we're like full-fledged summer here in Indiana. I just drove this weekend to the Cleveland area, went past Akron, and on my way home, went right past Warsaw. So, kind of got to see everything very briefly.
Well, it looks like on the internet I saw lots of storms went through there. And so I'm glad you didn't get caught in any of that.
Yeah. We had a tornado warning yesterday, but when we turned on the news, looked at the radar, we were just outside of the box. Now, everyone else we knew was definitely inside of the box, so we were texting people like for 40 minutes to make sure everybody was okay. But yeah, we did fine, and there isn't too much damage out here. So we're thankful for that.
Yes, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So college, we met at Grace College freshman year.
Yep.
It was I'm pretty sure it was the first night I was there. I know you had moved in a couple days early.
Yes.
I don't know why. Why did you move in early?
So I was part of this program for out-of-state people that basically there was some government grant to try and keep with people who were out of state. They were trying to help you get more plugged in so that you would be more likely to stay in the state of Indiana and work there. Clearly that didn't work well for me, but I appreciated the extra scholarship money for being a part of that. So I got to move in like a week or two early. And just
wow.
They took us to different churches in the area. They had us like talk with different like business people. I got to meet Oh, the guy who's now the Science Center's named after.
Oh, sure. Yep. Mm-hmm. That guy.
Who gave lots of money to Grace. But so I got to eat at his house one night, and we got to do dinner at like Dr. Cadup's house before he was president. That was when he was still provost. So
Okay.
just they were intentional about trying to get us plugged in, and so I had moved in a little bit early for that.
Was it DeYoung? Is that what the science building's named after? I have no idea.
No,
I had one
it
class.
was Dan Mill. I think it was Miller.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure we met the first night. My room freshman year was right off of the lobby on the second floor, so it was kind of like having a living room for the four of us crammed into a room that definitely should not have had four people in it. And you were one of my many fake roommates throughout college. I always had a rotating circus of people who just never wanted to leave my room. It just was the place to be, shockingly. I'm so introverted. We had people like you, especially freshman year. There was Ethan and Brad and other people who would just come in and basically just be there all day. And that's college. You're just with people all day and it never ends.
It's true. I miss that sometimes. And then other times I'm like, how did I do it?
I know. It is fun. That is, as you may recall, Grace College is all about community. Yes. You're beaten to death with the concept. And so just having people all the time around was nice. It was nice to always have a community. You and I, we were part of several different friend groups.
Yes.
The nervous laughter already. We were part of several different friend groups, so community was great, but there were sometimes I'm like, I am so introverted. Just get out of my room. For my third year, I was living at Gamma Townhouse or whatever. What's it called now? Kaufman Hall or something. I think the name changed again. I think it changed again. And I lived across the hall from a guy named Kurt, and I would just be at my desk doing homework. I had my desk set up against the window so I could watch the sunset every night because it was over the lake. And he would run up behind me and hug me randomly. I would just have a hug just randomly at some points during the day. I'm like, this needs to stop.
Oh, yeah. We had, there was always one of us that was pretty much in your room. But Josh was hardly in your room, so I guess that kind of balanced it out, I guess.
Yeah, on the one hand, Josh was never in the room, but on the other hand, his giant cello was always in the room and taking up space, along with all of Ryan's music equipment.
He definitely could have run chapel out of his bedroom.
Yes, we could have just had it there in the room. He could have played on the thing that wasn't a balcony. And yeah, I could have preached.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so we were on the second floor and it looked like we had a balcony, which was really cool. And then I looked out the window and there's no floor. It's almost just mesh. This is not safe. I can't go out here at all.
Well, those windows didn't really open to even have been able to get out onto that. So
I don't even remember. We would have figured out a way. We totally illegally lofted our bed. We could have figured out a way to get out there.
Well, once you had all of the beds in that setup, there was a little bit more space for y'all. But
yes, it was totally not lofted correctly, and I was so. They went round and round on it for so long that I just left. I was like, okay, whatever, just don't break any of my stuff, and went to Toll and got a coffee or something.
Back when that was available, I miss those days.
Do you remember what we used to do every Wednesday before growth groups?
Growth groups, yes. We would do I couldn't remember, were we watching American Idol before or? I remember we would go get our Tree of Life drinks, and then we would come back and we would watch something. But I thought it was American Idol, but I couldn't remember specifically.
I'm pretty sure at least the first was American Idol. I don't remember what we watched the second semester because I doubt it was on all the time. But yeah,
No.
we would. I remember watching American Idol. Probably the most I ever watched American Idol.
Yeah, I wasn't consistent with watching it, but I remember like we watched at least some of it right before. And then we would do our growth group time, you, me, and Aaron.
Which was an ideal lineup, the three of us together.
Yes, it was. They set that up well for us. Which our growth group was definitely a fun assortment of folks as well. So
yeah, because it was led by Dennis, which was great.
Yes.
And then Matt Hoffman, was he in the group? I think he was in the group. And
had Logan.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about Logan.
Oh yes, can't forget about that, because that was where the myself joke came with him, because we kept shaving on the same days, and so then we just made this running joke that like it wasn't planned, but we were just like, oh, we're the same person.
Yep, I remember that now.
And then was it Drake?
Drake, yeah.
And then the foreign exchange student who like didn't know what was going on. Yes,
he was from, I think it was South Korea, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure.
Wasn't totally. English was definitely not his first language. That was for sure. Super nice guy.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember, I had a denim jacket with martial art patches on it, and he could read he would read the patches for me.
Oh.
Like the Korean part. I don't know if I ever told you that. Yeah, we were like walking to class one day. We just happened to leave at the same time. And he was like, "Oh, you do Taekwondo?" And he pointed at the Korean letters, not the English part across the top.
Nice.
Yeah. I can't remember his name, though.
I want to say it was like Wu Chan, but I don't know if that's actually correct.
We're just gonna keep going. I think wasn't Andrew in that group too, because he was roommates with Drake.
Yes. I remember there was a baseball person.
Oh. I totally blocked him from my memory.
But I don't remember his name.
I remember there was a baseball person. Baseball players didn't have the best reputation at Grace.
No. But
Mike Shank was a good guy, but that was about it.
Not true.
So that was our growth group. What else did we do? Well, there was our Friday night adventures. Those were always the best.
Yeah, so our first real hangout, I guess, meeting was when we went to the art exhibit.
Oh God, yeah.
Because we had the freshman foundations required so many events we had to do, and so I was sitting in the lobby playing video games on that computer because I don't know why.
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot you could do that.
Yeah, I would just sit out there and do that. And so then you and Aaron were going to go to that, and I was just like, sure, I'll go with you guys. And then that was the strangest art exhibit.
That was so weird. They never did anything like that again.
Nope. So
we go to the art exhibit, and it actually became this normal thing for us because Aaron was an art major. He had friends. We had friends that were part of the art department, and we would go. It was our Friday night thing. It was almost every other month or something, it seems like. There was some type of art gallery going on, and there was free coffee and cookies and cheese. But we show up to this very first one, and it was X-rayed baby dolls.
Yup.
What? Why?
Yeah.
Do you remember any explanation for this at all?
No. I just remember being real confused and taking that photo that we had to take to get credit for being there. Um, I don't think we stayed very long for that one.
No, we did not. I was trying to find that picture the other day because I remember we had to take the pictures. I know you had to go to a sporting event, and we went to a soccer game, and you and Aaron literally took the picture and just left.
See, I feel like I remember because there was the soccer game. I know I did one soccer game that was the women's soccer game with like a team from Haiti. I remember staying for that whole.
Yeah, I remember that game. Maybe that was the same game.
But I don't remember if that was the same game or not. But I think you're right. There was definitely one game where we just took the photo and I was like, all right, I'm out. But I remember watching the Haitian game. And that was like one soccer game I watched there.
I forgot about that game. I remember going to it as well. There was that. There was the art exhibit. And was it Ritter's Night?
Yes.
Because I remember there's a really cheesy picture of me and Aaron posing by the sign for Ritter's.
That would definitely be for credit. But Ritter's Night was always fun.
That was a good one. So there's this ice cream Warsaw that, what was it, like the first Thursday or Friday after move-in day, it was free? $1? Something. It was
like
super
$1,
cheap.
Like $1 or $2 at most.
Yeah. And it was like line all the way wrapped around the building several times, but everyone went because cheap ice cream, and we're all freshman year, we're all trying to meet people. Any other year, it's, you and all of your friends go.
Right. It was just like, oh, the free ice cream. And there's just something about being in the line and just like, I don't know, college life, I guess. Now sure. Looking back, like as an adult, would I like fully, if someone told me, let's go get ice cream and stand in a really long line, like that probably would not have been like, that was fun. But in True. The moment doing it, it was so much fun.
Well, what else were we going to do? There was literally nothing to do in Warsaw. Like, it's a really nice town, and the village has got some cool shops, but everything closed at like 4, basically.
Yes. I mean, they're building an ice rink now, so they'll have more things to do now, but we definitely didn't have that when we were there.
No. There's also a, like, wine microbrewery thing in town now. Like, right there on the lake, and I'm like, how are all the students doing with this one?
Well, it was super interesting. So that after we graduated and I lived on the island, like that, literally the week after graduation, there's a whole like beer and wine event that's hosted on the island that happens after Grace is gone. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting.
I will have to remember that and go out there. I graduate, hopefully, in the spring, and the plan is for me to go because, we're only like 2 hours away. So maybe I'll keep that in mind, and we'll plan to do the beer and wine festival afterwards. You lived in so many cool places.
Definitely. Well, the first year was Indy, which gotta love our time in Indy. And that second year was, so I don't know if they owned the orchard, but they owned like a stretch of land that was near the orchard. And so it was this little house that eventually got remodeled, but we did not live in it when it was remodeled. And it was a fun little house. And then, third year was in the newly built, the lofts.
Yeah.
So those were nice, other than when the dryers would catch on fire and the countertops would fall off of things. That first year was exciting for.
It is very exciting. I think I went to the orchard. I think I went to your orchard place once. I remember a house. It wasn't a dorm. It wasn't a loft. It wasn't a townhouse. It was a house for some reason.
It was, and it was. If it was since it's been remodeled, I think it would be a really nice little house. They had an attic crawl space, which at one point Aaron found this like ceramic lamb, just that was in the yard there. And so then when we found the attic crawl space, we hid the ceramic lamb in the the attic.
Wasn't that also where Aaron had his Lady Gaga CD confiscated because the cover art was deemed NGA, not Grace approved?
The CDs he got to keep, but the little like packet at the start of the CD that you can take out, that was confiscated.
That's lame.
But yes, that was the house where that happened.
Yeah. And then you lived on the island for a bit. That house was cool.
That was a nice little house. Definitely lots of fond memories. The carpet was like pool table green.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
And there was like this little like dip in it where you like sunk in a little bit. But it was a nice house. I enjoyed being there. There was definitely lots of stories, like the mushrooms that grew in the bathroom and the bird nest that was inside the chimney.
Yep, I remember that. One. Nice little place. He had a good. And for those of you who don't know, Grace is in Warsaw, which is also in Winona Lake. It's like two towns at the same time.
Yes.
Big old lake, and they built an island out there, and that's where he lived. And there's also a castle right off the lake. It's really nice. Everybody goes by and takes pictures of it.
Yes, super nice. And the lake's pretty nice. And sometimes the ice, like in the winter, that it'll freeze enough where you can walk on the ice. But did that a time or two.
Yeah. Not much of a beach. Definitely man-made beach. Pretty gross, but the lake itself was pretty good by way of lakes.
Yes, I mean, especially being from Ohio originally, comparing it to Lake Erie, like, is much better.
I've got Lake Michigan just north of me, and the beaches are a lot nicer there, but
yes,
actual beaches. Basically, the whole state of Indiana, the whole top half is just there's sand. The further you dig, the more sand you find. That's basically it. So we passed the time Friday nights doing what any normal college student would do when there's nothing to do in town. We went to the mailroom.
Yes.
And we would just try to open them, right? That's all we did.
But we would do ours, but then other people like wouldn't shut theirs. Oh, no, it was the combination locks. And so we would try and guess people's combinations. Or
some people would have it set so that way they would just be able to walk up, unlock, get their stuff, and then just set it back. Yes. So we would try to find. I remember trying to find those and just pop them open. We never stole mail. We're not indicting ourselves.
No, we just would open them and then shut them, so the person would get frustrated when they would come back.
Yep, all we would do. And then we started making music videos.
The music video phase was. Now, did the girls' side start that, or
no? Okay, I don't remember how this all started. So
why?
I think we were first because it was us, and then Jen and her friends started making them, and then the unofficial Grace College choir started making them, which was Colin and all his dorky friends.
Oh, I didn't remember those ones. I just remembered the girls doing theirs.
You probably blocked out the other ones because you and Aaron were not happy about that because they were more popular.
Probably.
Whose idea was it to do these videos? I don't remember.
I don't know. I feel like I don't remember. Was the first one the Friday video?
TikTok.
Okay.
I just don't know how a bunch of guys bored one evening suddenly said, you know, it would be fun. Let's turn on TikTok by Kesha and dance to it and put it somewhere. I don't know how we did that without drugs or alcohol. How did we get to that decision?
I don't. It was probably late in the evening.
First off.
And yeah, I don't know what the logic was, but I remember having a lot of fun with it.
It was fun. I remember that one. We did Friday by Rebecca Black, which totally dates how old we are.
Yes.
It was like the summer of 2012, and the hot song was Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen. We are old.
That was definitely the song.
Gangnam Style. Yeah, we.
Oh, that one we collaborated with, like, most of the dorm, I thought. But we had to redo that one because...
Oh, no, that was Harlem Shake.
Oh, yes, you're right. Harlem Shake had to get redone because certain people were doing things that were possibly considered inappropriate.
It was seriously just like, oh, that looks wrong. I don't think they were trying to do it on purpose. I think it just happened that way.
It was not an intentional thing, but then once you saw it, you couldn't unsee it, and so we had to do it.
Yes. Because that was back when internet memes would last, like, you had a whole week or two to do a trend, you know? Like, I think I was a part of like 3 or 4 Harlem Shake videos back then.
Yeah, I only remember doing the one, but that doesn't mean I wasn't in more. But yeah, we did Gangnam Style. We did that one. I know we did the Christmas Mariah Carey one.
Of course. We did the mashup one, which
Michael
was
Jackson.
Yeah, it was that, Rick Roll, and then Born This Way by Lady Gaga.
Yes.
That was because I thought it was creative.
Which one did we have that Lion King scene in?
That was that one.
That was the mashup one?
Yeah. And there was a scene where you guys were partying in the laundry room, and I walked through, and I'm like annoyingly doing my laundry in the background.
Yes.
Those are good.
Yes. Aaron has those videos hidden, but I still find them every once in a while.
I've tried, but by this point, like, it's gone from my memory. The right words to look up on YouTube.
Yeah, I have to like look him up specifically if I try and find them. But I also don't actually try and see those very often.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to realize. I just want them to be good memories in my mind. I don't want to realize, oh no, this was all very crappy.
Right. Just keep the memories of how fun it was. And because then the girls would start making them, and so then we had to we would try and do one in response, and we tried to keep upping them.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, which was the one that we did, was it the Friday one that we went all over campus?
I think so. I think that was the Friday one that you got. I don't think I was really involved in that one. I think you almost shot like an actual music video for that one because you're doing stuff and like recreating parts of the actual music video.
Oh yes, getting in the car and doing the fake.
The moving your arm up and down thing. Yes. Yep.
Yes.
All right.
Of those.
Those were the good times. But they all weren't good times.
Yeah.
How did we get ourselves into so much drama?
Yeah, well, some of that was certain people in the friend group, but
Some of it was self-inflicted. I self-inflicted.
yes, definitely some of it was people liking each other.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I guess that was a problem.
Yeah, that was a continual thing throughout the years.
I wasn't even thinking about that one. I was thinking about the counseling friend group. We had 3 friend groups. There was the freshman year group, which had the on again, off again relationship. There was the counseling friend group that had the longest burnout in history. It was just like slowly searing pain of we really just need to stop hanging out. But then there was the art major group, and I at least never had any problems with the art major group.
No, there was not a ton of drama in the art major group. That one, which was so interesting because I always thought like the counseling group was going to be like the one that like would be that forever group, but really the art major group and kind of our roommate group is kind of like the ones that I've kept most in contact with.
Yeah, surprising that the counselor group couldn't talk it out. That one sit there. I'm proud of that joke. But yeah, the art major group was cool because they had this fancy room that smelled really good where they could work, and you could only go in there if you were an art major, but we got a free pass because we were friends with them. And Julie is just a cool person. I really enjoyed hanging out with Julie because she was also so geeky as well, so we could talk about 90s stuff mostly, but like superhero stuff as well. And Aaron was always really chill.
Yes. There was definitely one memory where you weren't, I don't think you were there. This was a late night. Well, it wasn't super late, but it was dark out.
Was Rusty there? Because I was never around when Rusty was around, and Rusty was always there, and Rusty was never there when I was there. We replaced each other.
See, Rusty wasn't always there. Like, I barely overlapped with Rusty even. So, like, Rusty was a placeholder for me as well. It was like, because when Rusty and I started living together, we were like, we both know each other from this art friend group, but we didn't necessarily have a lot of, like, interactions together.
Okay.
You weren't alone in that. But we were playing some kind of music in there, and then Aaron and I ended up standing up on a table and we're dancing. And
Excellent.
then some other art majors just walked in, saw us, and then just turned around and left.
This is not the right time to be here. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, were there any other fond memories from your time at Grace College?
I mean, Lake Day was always fun when we would go down and do that.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the early days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Red bags. Making fun of whenever there were visitors and calling them red bags.
Well, then I was a tour guide, so then I was leading the red bags.
Right. Oh, yeah, and we would like try to find you and say really loud and obnoxiously nice things about Grace College when we walked by. That was like when I was hanging out with Tyler and Curtis.
Yep. And I would always laugh, but the visitors always enjoyed it, which now it's funny because now working on the college campus, like their colors are purple. So if I see a purple bag, I'm always like, I try and be intentional about, oh, hey, how are you doing? Welcome. And so I'm like, oh, some of my admissions self has never left.
Never left. I seem to remember, so we were all part of different clubs. There was that one day really early in the year where it was like a fair and you could sign up for all the different clubs and club sports. And I remember you were part of one, and I asked you about it, and you had no idea. Like, you were not, I think it was called Venom.
Yeah.
And you were like, I don't understand. You couldn't even explain it to me, like what you were trying to do, because depending on which leader you asked, it meant something different.
Yeah, I don't know why it was named that. We changed the name once I became the leader of or co-leader of that group. But yes, overall, like what we did was we would go and like there was 2 like food bank type places, and so we would go and volunteer there. Why it was called Project Venom, I no idea.
Yeah, no one seemed to know. Because I remember that because we were at breakfast because for some reason freshman year it was like almost every Thursday or something we would go to breakfast and we would seriously be the only people in the cafeteria at breakfast that early. And I asked you about it and you're like, well, it either is we're sucking the venom out, meaning we're trying to remove hunger, or we're giving venom, meaning we're like giving people food. I'm like, that's stupid. Pick one.
Yeah, I have no idea. But I do remember doing breakfast on Wednesdays for sure, because that was when we'd have those lovely freshman experience courses.
Right.
And so we would go do breakfast and then go sit in the front row.
Oh, yeah. We would sit front row. See, I never did that after freshman year. I was always in the bleachers, almost at the tippity top. But yeah, we would sit front row for chapel, and we would go to breakfast first. Yeah. I forgot about because we had to be up so early for our freshman experience courses, which were 4 hours and 40 minutes long.
Yeah. We would do like half the morning and then do chapel and then have more after chapel.
Yeah, it was like a breakout group thing after chapel. We had the lecture first, then the breakout stuff. Yep.
Well, it's almost like we had the big, all of us there, and then we had like this, like the larger breakout group, and then after chapel, it was the smaller breakout groups. Does that sound?
That sounds right. That sounds right. Yep.
And then once everyone would be dismissed from the smaller groups, like the lunch was only offered for so long, and so everyone would like be sprinting over to try and get lunch before it closed.
I gave up on that. I started buying stuff and eating lunch in my room at that point because it was also a really long line because it was all 700 freshmen at the same time trying to get in to get lunch at the last minute.
Yep. Because that first year, that they didn't have fake Chipotle yet, right?
Correct. We had fake Subway.
Right.
We didn't have fake Chipotle.
Fake Chipotle didn't come till second year?
I think so.
Because then third year, they combined Subway and Chipotle in the same building?
Yes. That fake sub, what was it? Subco. That's what it was called. Sub Connection. Yes. And man, you sat in there for 5 minutes. You could not get the smell of their bread out of your clothes for like a week or more.
Well, the Philippia, that whole building just smelled like Subco.
Yep. Which is a shame because Jasmine's was right there with like pastries and whatnot. It could smell like that, but no, it smells like exhaust fume bread.
Yep. I don't even know if what's in there now. Like I'd assume there's still some kind of option there, but
there's got to be something. My youngest brother is going to Grace this fall, so I will find out and go visit him one time.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah, he's smart. He's going for accounting.
Nice. That business department is definitely a big part of the Grace College degrees.
That is the draw. Although there was counseling and ministry was also a pretty big, like they were big departments.
Yeah, their top 3 were their psychology, business, and then ministry was up there.
That was pretty good. And you did your master's at Grace as well, but you did your doctorate at Trevecca, right?
Yep. So I did because at Grace College, you could do pretty much any degree in 3 years. The only ones that you really couldn't do that with were nursing and engineering.
That was a joke. Both of those were a joke because basically you took it and engineering through something else completely.
Yes. But that's since changed. I don't think they're doing it through Trine anymore. I think they're still doing the nursing through Bethel, but I'm not sure if they're still doing the Trine partnership anymore. But yes. And then I think teaching was the only other one that was questionable on if you could do it in 3 years.
Yeah, I remember that because my one friend, Lene, she was like having to take on even more. Because it was the student teaching. That was the part that would always complicate things.
Yes. So I think theirs was like 3.5.
Oh, great. Well, do you have any final stories, remembrances, highlights from our college days at all?
I definitely remember doing chapels together, and one of the things that I do really miss is just like our like hall dinners at 5:00.
Oh, those were good times. Because again, going back to the whole community thing was a big deal with Grace. Our dorm, Indiana Hall, we were obsessed with family. Wasn't that the word, or hood or something like that? It was like,
I think it was the hood was on our t-shirts.
Yes, it was, because one time, I don't remember if you were in the room, Josh was Skyping his grandparents and he saw me with his grandpa saw me with that shirt on. He was like, now son, you might be sending the wrong message to certain people about being from the hood. And I thought to myself, well, I kind of am already, but it's just my dorm's t-shirt.
Yeah, even though our hall was unique, like we still would always 5:00 every day. Like, we would all caravan over there, and occasionally our sister hall would join us, but they weren't as quick at getting over there.
Right. And by all, we mean all. It was like all of us.
Yeah, like our whole first floor was not as interactive with us, but our whole second floor, we pretty much would go. I mean, there was a few people that wouldn't, but still a good majority of us.
Yeah. 20 something or more, all parading down there to get dinner.
Yeah.
Good time. Right at 5:00, because our RA was that person, like very atypical person, even more than I am, of like getting on schedule all of the time.
Which that was nice in the early days, and then eventually he wasn't as like strict about it. But all of us, we were going and getting him of like, hey, it's 5:00, it's time for you to come.
He was a senior. He was graduating. He was over us by second semester.
But definitely appreciated both of the RAs that we had on that floor.
Yeah, we had a good combo. Jordan was good for that first semester of just making you feel welcomed, and then Matt became one of my friends that second semester. We just started bonding over mutual interests. So they were both really good guys.
Yeah. I do remember we tried to do a skit show after we got bored with the music videos, but that never went through.
We were going to do an American Idol parody. I remember that one because I was Ryan Seacrest.
The one I remember is because someone described my personality as a mix between Mr. Rogers and Blue's Clues.
Yes.
And so I remember making that video, and we were filming it during room checks. And we locked the door waiting we thought Matt was gonna like knock on the door for me to open it so that I could do it as like part of the skit. except he didn't knock on the door. He just unlocked the room and just came in.
He just started doing it. I remember this now.
So he was not voluntarily involved in that video.
Oh, man. Aaron has been listening to the show, and I'm really scared now that all of these are going to start surfacing on social media. But, whatever.
Fun memories.
That was good stuff. Well, hey, man, I have really appreciated this walk down memory lane. Thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule to do this.
Happy to be invited. Thanks for having me. I love getting to talk with you and getting to remember some of the good times.
Yeah. And if you're listening to the show and you are new, you can get new episodes every Saturday morning wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever. You could also follow the show on social media at My Seminary Life Pod. You can go to our profile on Anchor, leave a voice message, email seminarylife@gmail.com. You look hard enough. We have a shop. You can buy T-shirts, hats, stuff like that, wherever. I really need to build a website is what I've determined, John. I tell people to go do all this stuff. I need a website. Oh.
I had to make one for my counseling profile. So it's confusing and awful, but once it's set up, it's lovely. So I'm all for that.
You will be my inspiration. Now, before we go, it has become a tradition for me to ask the guest a random question. And thankfully, this didn't come up, so I can ask you about it.
Oh, good.
Tell us about your career as an actor at Grace College.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. So I did 4 shows at Grace. I did 2 plays and 2 musicals. My most well-known roles were my deadpan characters. So I became very famous on campus after that first show, which was this murder mystery play. Loved that show. I will forever love that cast.
That was one, because we all went to support you, and that one was great.
Still my favorite. Working with Mike Yoakum is just a wonderful human, and so glad to have learned from him. But just this, I had probably the least lines, but got some of the most laughs throughout the whole show. And just
I remember one of them was a Monster Mash thing, and you were Frankenstein, and I don't know if you had a line in that one.
That was the musical. That was Ghost Show. So that was, yes, I reprised that Dead to the World character. And yeah, I didn't have my own lines. I just repeated a word or two from other people's lines. So I just had to remember who I needed to repeat after.
I remember you had a big musical number in that one, and for your dance sequence, you would literally just stomp your foot once, then the other person would dance, and then you would stomp the other foot.
Yes, they put a lot of energy into choreographing their tap dance. And because I wasn't necessarily a tap, I had no training in tap dance, so they weren't going to try and make me become a tap dancer. So they're just just do something, but don't put a lot of energy into it. And so sometimes I just wouldn't do anything, and I would just stand there and then just look at the other person to go again.
That's good.
So yes, lots of deadpan, and then I did a couple other roles that had more life to them, but those are my well-known roles. I had an interview to do the admissions job, and the guy who was interviewing me, he's like, "Wait, you were that guy?" So I definitely had a following for that after that show for a little while, but Then I did that last year. I did lights for the show.
Nice. I built the set for the zombie prom. I took stagecraft, built the set for that one. Was that the one you ran lights for?
Yes, I ran lights for that one and the show before that one. Yeah.
Nice. Well, once again, thank you for joining me on the show today. Thank you to all of you listening. And remember, keep on studying.